Adaptability. People exceptionally talented in the adaptability strength prefer to go with the flow. They tend to be now people who take things as they come and discover the future one day at a time. Adaptability, if you had this strength, you are the emergency person. You're the one people go to when they feel the walls crumbling down on them, when things are just out of control. You are the calm amongst the chaos. You handle the last minute really well. When things don't go a certain way, you're flexible. You're comfortable when things change. You're easy to get along with, right? Which is what you do well when you're in that moment. Like, it's really powerful. You react immediately, and typically you're like a positive force for people, a calming force. So unfortunately, though, sometimes when you can also be viewed as directionless because you're not firm with people, maybe indecisive, maybe sheepish, just kind of going with the herd instead of making your stand here. So as you get more comfortable in your adaptability strength, learning how to pair it with other strengths, and like, why are you being adaptable? I mean, it's a flexibility strength with people. And so it's really a powerful thing to have, especially if you live or work in an environment that is chaotic. This could be a defense mechanism for you to kind of keep your head on straight and keep your mind from exploding. So it's real important that you understand just how this can be teeter-tottering on the verge of like being in control of the situation versus kind of just following along. Just like with all of the strengths, there is the raw versus mature side of the strength. And in adaptability, some of the areas where you could look if you're raw adaptability is an I don't care attitude, right? Very apathetic towards the change, versus someone who is like adopting the change, really engaged by the change, embraces it, and kind of like gets energized because of it. Another thing is like sometimes people react to change as raw, like they're not very prepared for the change, versus being ready for it and being embracing that change and mobilizing people from it instead of being like kind of pushed by the wave. You are kind of navigating through the waves. Being needy, sometimes you're very needy. Right now it's like only me, it's very selfish when it's raw. So how can I take care of myself when it's changing, versus what do we all need? What can I do to support others? Now obviously, as you learn your other strengths, you'll understand how that can be used. If you have different strengths, your flexibility can be used in certain ways to help the situation, whether it's a family crisis, whether it's a work crisis, whether it's just your kids being crazy crisis, right? So you are very reliable in the moment, right? Very reliable in the moment, which is good because people need someone in the moment to be grounded, to be strong, to be able to kind of take it and kind of switch gears quickly. And that's what people with adaptability do really, really well. So a couple of things you can do for your family or for yourself or people you work with is to understand just how powerful it is. Other people, aren't really flexible like you are, right? They're not very spontaneous. They're very structured. And so when little things go wrong, like the little, anything can happen, it pop at any given moment, their whole day can shift. Their energy can shift. Their mood can shift. Their emotions can shift. And so not everybody sees the world the way you do if you have adaptability high. There's a lot of judging going on there. Like, what's wrong with you people? Why can't you get through this? It's important to take a deep breath, understand what's going on, and ask questions. Soothe them. Don't judge them. Don't critique them, right? It's really easy to be misunderstanding people, right? So if you share with people how you get through a situation and what you see with it, and how this moment is an opportunity to change, an opportunity to grow, in a calm and loving way, you're going to give more support to the people around you. If you continue to kind of like, especially with children, if you have kids, to kind of help them understand that change is going to happen. We can't always count on everything we're doing to be perfect. So if you are able to share what you're thinking and how you solve the situation, maybe you can open others' eyes to that as well. Not change them to be more adaptable, because you can't do that, but just be able to share what you're thinking and how you navigated through it, because you might give people a little insight into doing it on their own. Because that's really what you want to do. You want to encourage others to also be flexible and support them, because you're not always going to be there for them. So if you can kind of give them a little piece of what's going on in your brain, that might be able to help. Some ways which you can get better with adaptability. If it's new to you and you want to move from that role to mature, think about what you have to do today. Like, what things do you need to do that have to get done? And then what things can you respond to today instead? So starting to like figure out what's the most important part of your day, versus the things that can kind of be like, yeah, I really don't need to do this. So you're planning yourself, because we don't want to come, we don't want to be caught with our pants down. No one ever wants to be caught with their pants down where we're like totally blindsided by something. So if you look through in your morning, through your day, you can be prepared for when you're going to possibly need to be more adaptable and flexible. How can you reassure your friends and your family? And what kind of language can you use when the circumstances change, when they get upset, when they get flustered? So think about what you've done in the past. How did you use it yesterday or last week, or when a situation popped up, and kind of reflect upon what worked and what didn't work with individual people. Everyone has their own way of responding and reacting. And so you're going to need to be, as the flexible one, be able to say, okay, if I'm with person X, this particular way I spoke to them helped them get through it, versus this one didn't. So I have to kind of be mindful of that as I'm moving through my day, so I can keep everyone calm in their own different way. Now, obviously, other strengths that you have, like individualization, will help you do it a little bit better. If you have a ranger, that's a great strength to pair with it, because it's also flexible and you can like kind of get things done, as well as helping people in that situation. One of the really great strengths, if you have adaptability, that you most often will have, is empathy. So as you sense other people's emotions, it'll help you to guide what direction you're going to take with them, what course of action you're going to take. So be mindful that of your other strengths in your top 10 and how they can play with your adaptability. So last thing about adaptability that we need to remember is that you have to set boundaries for yourself. Just because you're adaptable doesn't mean you should be taken advantage of. It's real easy when you've been trained, or others have trained you, or they know you, and they're like, oh, such and such, they always go with the flow. We'll just change plans instantly, and we'll just do this, and then they'll just kind of do it no matter what we say. And they're going to be very, inside, you might be outwardly saying, I'm okay, it's okay, I don't care. But inside, you could be seething about the whole thing. And then that resentment builds up. So it's okay to not be adaptable all the time. You're allowed to put your foot down and tell people, no, this is not what we're doing today. I really need to do this instead. Protect yourself at all costs, especially using your strengths, but allow people to understand why you're doing what you're doing, so you can have it out in the open. So next time you don't repeat the same mistakes as before.